what they say. If you don't want a nigga to know something, put it in a book, because niggas don't read. That's what they say. So you got to be mindful of, like, really reading is the key. Taking the time to read and educate yourself, to go to workshops, to go to intensives, to go to classes, to learn about this information, to empower yourself, right? Literally, a lot of the answers are right there in the book, but many, especially today's young people, don't want to read. Okay, they don't want to read. A lot of people don't want to read. And sometimes, too, it's just our attention spans are so short, we don't want to sit down and take the time to read, because we got AI now that's reading to us. We got AI giving us all the information. You know, everything is like quick and easily accessible. But let me tell you something. Your brain is a muscle. So you want to make sure that you keep that muscle strong. If you got AI doing everything for you, then at some point, you know what I'm saying, your muscles are going to get weak.
Thank you, Ro, for being here. Thank y'all for being here, for taking a moment to be with us and hanging out with us. Safe space. Safe space. Safe space. Stay there, stay there, stay there.
What's up, everybody? Come on in. Oh, yes. Come through, come in, come on in. Let's see. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of ownership. The importance of ownership. Mom, you do me a favor, cut that light on. This is the one that's on. Yep, perfect. Yes, let's get a little light in here. Today we're going to be talking about ownership, the importance of ownership as a artist. It's super important. So if you are an artist, this is for you. If you are specifically a music artist, composer, songwriter, this space is for you. Okay? I know that I should try to make it right. All right, so it's really, really, really important as music artists that we understand. I'm going to keep saying this, that we understand that there is a business behind the music. We have to be able to separate the artist and the business aspect of the artist. You know, 9 out of 10 times, many of us artists, we don't understand that we are a business. And we don't understand that a lot of our business is based in the fact that we own our work, that we own our identity, that we own what we're creating, right? And so I just want to be honest about like my journey. And so like I'm 42 years old now. I don't really look like it, right? But that's the reality of it. And it's not always exciting to be like, hey, I'm 42 and I'm just now really starting to commit to the business aspects of my music. Over the last 5 years, really since the pandemic, well, as we were approaching the pandemic, I was beginning to become a lot more savvy business-wise. A lot of the mistakes I made, they were becoming very highlighted. I was starting to see them a lot more clear, and I was starting to see like the necessary need for infrastructure and putting certain things in place so that my business could establish itself and help me to build a sustainable career. Meanwhile, though, I was still making a couple of mistakes finance-wise, and I ended up going back to work, right, as a public school teacher. And I'll be honest, in the midst of that, I was kind of losing my identity and becoming like everything for everyone, and not really clear. But still simultaneously in the back end, I was meeting with attorneys, learning things about the industry, getting agreements drafted, recording my album, Juno the Late Bloomer. I was also filming a short film to complement Juno the Late Bloomer. And yeah, just, really just focus on the back end stuff. Performing here and there, but not at a higher level. Not, just kind of still trying to balance so many hats at once. But anyway, ultimately I decided, I gotta dip out because it was over consuming me to the point that it was affecting my mental, emotional, and physical health and spirit, just overall psychological, everything. It was over consuming me to the point where I was not able to devote to myself the simplest things, like making sure that I showed up to yoga. Hello, I Sanchez. How are you? Are you a music artist? How you doing? How you doing? I see you giving the hundreds. I don't know how long you've been here, but what did you hear so far? So, basically, I got to the point where it was like, all right, I got to make sure I roll this out. So to be completely honest, I've decided to do Juno the Late Bloomer direct to consumer. Okay, what's up? Yes, as in yes, you are a music artist. Awesome. So this is for you. How long you been doing music? And where are you based? Tell me where you're at. And what kind of music do you do? And share your music with me in the chat. I'd be happy to check out your music. So, yes, I made the decision to release this album along with my team, direct to consumer. It's called Juno the Late Bloomer. And, being transparent, the money that we're getting from this direct to consumer, like this is just one part of the strategy, right? We have a full rollout. This rollout is going to take us about a year to really position Juno the Late Bloomer, but also RIMIDI, the brand RIMIDI, where we want it to be, right? Right now, the stage that we're at is that we're taking the money from these direct-to-consumer sales to pay for very important things behind the scenes in the infrastructure, right? So, like, I just switched. I CSAC. I was with CSAC, but like I said, I hadn't been performing, so they let me go do the low performance and all that. It's all good. Like I'm always say they're gonna regret it later, but it's all good. I understand business, so whatever. So that led me in a place where it's like, okay, I got to go to a new performing rights organization. I ultimately decided that I want to go with BMI. So I just did my application. I actually shared it in my stories the other day, so y'all can see that, because you want to have a pro. That's number one, right? So we're talking about ownership today. We're talking about the importance of ownership and why you want to make sure you have all your ducks in order as a music artist so that you can build a sustainable career versus being a starving artist, which a lot of artists like to wear that as a badge of honor. And it's like, no, bro, like, especially you're an adult, especially if you're an adult, like you got bills you got to pay. So you got to make sure you have things in place. So let's see what you said. You said, oh, you're in Miami. I'm still working on that. Oh, you met me in the pandemic? Wait, who is this? Because I don't recognize the name I. Sanchez. You in the pandemic through Zoom. You have such healing and great vibes. Thank you. I made y'all meditate and everything. Woo! Oh, yes! I know your name. You got to tell me your name. Like, I know you. I know who you are. Baby girl, I know who you are. You changed your name, so I don't know your name here, the Ice Sanchez. I remember. I can't. You're such a beautiful, vibrant spirit. Yeah, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. I cannot ever forget you. Yes, Wendy. Remind me the instrument you play. And Wendy, have you? Yes, Wendy. That's one of some of my. I feel like a lot of these programs do not share like information on how to run a business as a musician. A lot of these programs, especially like me personally, when I was in high school, they'll teach you how to perform all day. They'll teach you how to be a performer all day, but they don't teach you the necessary things that help you sustain yourself in this career. So one of the things you want to know is, in ownership, you got to make sure that you understand the importance of your catalog, right? And that you're properly registering your catalog. So I was talking about the pros, right? Performing Arts Organization, and how, and also I was talking about simultaneously that I, just being transparent, that the money that we're using, the money that is being made from this album, we're taking that money and using that money to pay for some of the things in the back end. And I was explaining how when I just got let go from CSAC due to low performance, and then I just reapplied to BMI. Performing Rights Organization, aka PRO, is what these are, and basically they help to collect your performance royalties. So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't always have all my stuff registered, I didn't have everything on point, so that's what I'm doing now. And so I just applied to, even with CSAC, like I had it was an honor. I was honored to be able to have been accepted to CSAC. That's invitation only. So to have been invited to be a part of CSAC, I'm always going to be thankful and appreciative of that. I liked my experience with CSAC. It's very personal. That's what I liked about CSAC, and that's why I went to CSAC. I was originally with BMI, being transparent, and then I went over to CSAC because I wanted to be where I didn't feel like a number. I wanted to be where I felt like I was a part of something and seen and heard and felt. And I will be honest that my time over there with CSAC, that's what it felt like. Like I had the main contacts and stuff, and I would send emails and I would get direct responses immediately. Even when it was time to transition out, it was immediate responses, and I appreciated that. So whatever, here we are, fast forward, now I am moving back over to BMI because I feel like BMI pays better, but also the trajectory in which I'm headed, they may be the best pro for me. At this time, I'm also about like having access to workshops and education and resources, and I feel like BMI has that, in performance opportunities and etc. And I feel like BMI has that, and so that's important to me to be able to build into network, because your network is your net worth. So being able to be in spaces, curated spaces by my pro, I want to be able to have access to that and access to information. So I ultimately chose them. And so the money that we're making, guys, man, let's talk about this smoke alarm, okay? Because I put in a work order. They came, they supposedly changed the battery, and they did. I don't know what's happening, because now this thing is acting up again. I put in a new work order, so don't be talking crap about me and my smoke alarm, okay? And the smoke alarm here. So, yeah. Wendy, My grandma last name, she passed. Oh, so that's why you did that. My grandma last name, she passed. So as an honor, I put it in my bio. Okay. Is that going to be your artist name? Is your artist name going to be I Sanchez? I think you know, I love grandma, but you could put in your bio, RIP Grandma Sanchez, but your name needs to be consistent. Your name should be like what you're going to always use. No disrespect for grandma, but grandma understands the importance of you becoming sustainable and branding. Even if she understands the importance of you becoming sustainable and being recognizable. So if I Sanchez is going to be your name, then it has to be your name across the board everywhere so that it's easy for people to find you. You know what I'm saying? And recognize you. I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm dropping. But you play the clarinet. I feel like I remember the clarinet. What I remember about you is that you spoke your mind. And I remember you... You was the first young person that I let curse around me. And you cursed so freely, and it like triggered me a little bit. Cause I like this girl just cursed. And she cursed again. And she cursed again. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't in the school setting. That was, you know, the first time we were in the outside of a school setting. So, you know, it was like, I mean, I guess I can let her, but I loved, most importantly, that you were always yourself. That made me so happy about you. You were one of the realest young jits I ever met. And so I let you just be yourself. I allowed you to be yourself without worrying about, like, how we perceived you. You know what I'm saying? Without, like, saying, like, young lady, stop cursing. I just let you do your thing. Yeah, Mr. Leo. Yeah. Leo, I'm still in touch with him. In fact, I should send him a message after this. Yes, it's also about, yes. Who teaches that? Oh, are you at FIU now? Are you a student at FIU? And if so, what are you studying? Yes, it is all about who you know. And, you know, we were having another conversation about that yesterday. I saw something, I commented on someone's video. They talked about that, like how important your network is. But the thing is, you could have a big network of people that are crafts and of people who will not support you and people who, you know, will not share your work and put you in connection with people you need to be put in connection with because of whatever their trauma is or whatever is happening with them. So you also want to make sure that your network is filled with people. Well, first of all, you want to make sure you are that type of person, right? That you share information, that you share resources. And then, therefore, you will attract to yourself who you are. And so you want to make sure your network is filled with people who share information, who share resources, and want to actually see you win. Because that is what makes your network worth something amazing, right? So, yeah, you can know a whole lot of people and not progress because you know the wrong people. You want to know the right people. So, back to ownership, to just close this out, because I'll talk all day. And I think I went already all over the place. But to close this out and to make sure I don't have this smoke alarm all over, who passed? Who passed last year? And you got what kind of lawyer are you gonna become? I hope if you become an entertainment lawyer, girl, you're going to have to be my lawyer because you's fired. No, he did not. I have been processing grief all weekend. I think I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even know how to respond to that. You're gonna make me cry right on the thing. This is what I'm saying. So this is why it's so important to get our stuff together, because we want to leave a legacy and we want to be able to pass that legacy on to our families, even if we pass it on to charities, even if we later decide to sell it. We got to make sure we have our stuff in order. We got to make sure we have a catalog. We got to make sure our catalog is registered. That's so sad. That's so sad. You said at first it was music education, but I didn't want to have that as a career. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree because you learn the education of music by doing it. And you don't necessarily have to have a degree unless you're trying to be a teacher for the school system or something like that. You don't have to have a degree. Okay, babe. Yeah, you don't have to have a degree. But to be a lawyer, though, well, I ain't gonna say that, but to be a bar associated lawyer or attorney, rather, you have to go to college. Oh my God. I'm reading what you're writing about, Leo. I didn't get that news. I did not know. I thought, look at me talking about I'm about to hit him up. This is what I'm saying. We also got to make sure we're checking on our people. That makes me so sad. He was a G, and he supported my music so much. He supported me as a human being first and foremost. I remember when I left the organization, he was like, yeah, go do bigger, better things. Like, go spread your wings is what he told me. Like, go grow. And he was like so supportive of me making the decision to like invest in myself and to even ultimately make the decision to walk away from the school system and focus on my career. So this is all I want to say. First of all, thank you for sharing that information with me. He spoke his mind. He was a real one. When he shared that to me, he shared it for everyone to hear. He shared that for everyone to hear. Like, I want to see you do well and better than this. If there's better than this for you, I want you to have that. You know what I'm saying? He was a great person. All right, so I'm going to say this. I have a class in 15 minutes. We want to make sure that I don't have to go to that class, but I have two classes that one is at 7, one at 8:30. I was going to skip the one at 7 so I could focus on what I got to do in the one at 8:30. But I don't know, something about this is making me want to go to the 7 o'clock class. So, to close this out, first, he was the first person to bring me to the studio and help me. Yes. To close this out, and I want you to know this, because you are, first of all, please become an entertainment lawyer. I feel like you are the perfect person. But you gotta have the education, right? You gotta know the industry, because we can speak our mind, but we want to speak our mind. We want to understand the importance and power of our words. And so when we speak our mind, we want to speak our mind knowing that we know what we're talking about, right? And use your mind and your mouth as a powerful weapon, so that whenever you open up, it's a weapon that's being used intentionally, being done with intent. So make sure that you do that. But I feel like if anybody is going to be an entertainment lawyer, it should be you. And I promise you, with who I know you are and who you are becoming, I know you're going to be a bomb entertainment lawyer, and one that can be trusted. So definitely do that. But make sure you start learning the business. And that's what this whole thing is about, like making sure you learn the business. So like, to wrap this up, music artists want to make sure that they understand that this game is about ownership. You want to make sure that you understand like what that ownership entails, which also entails you having a catalog. Your catalog is all the music that you make. But your catalog, you got to make sure you copyright it. You got to make sure that you're registering it with your pro. your performing arts organization, whichever one you choose to go with. You also want to make sure that you register with like the MLC. You want to make sure that you're registering your music with Sound Exchange. You know what I'm saying? Luminate, etc., etc., etc. You want to make sure you understand that music has two sides. Your song has two sides. Your song has the composition, the publishing, and then your song has a masters or sound recording side. You want to understand the difference between that. Okay? And then you want to make sure you establish yourself as a business. Okay? Even though being a sole proprietor, which is using your social security number, is cool, but when you become a business, you establish yourself in a way where you could protect yourself. Some artists operate as a sole proprietor, and some operate as an actual business structure, which is LLC, partnership, corporation, etc. I'm not going to tell you what you should do, right? Me personally, I have an LLC, you know, and single member LLC. And how I tax is S Corp. However you decided to do it, you just need to know that you are a business and you got to set up yourself as a business. And there's more that I could go through, but right now, that's what I'm going to say for now. And just make sure that you have that set up. When y'all buy this album, okay, Juno the Late Bloomer, which by the way, please go and check it out. The link is in the bio. It's being released via Bandcamp. It has been released via Bandcamp right now, direct to consumer, which means there is no streaming stuff, like you going direct to me, the money comes straight to me. Versus whereas if I put it on the DSPs like Apple Music and Tidal and Spotify and all that, the artist, myself, will get pennies for every stream, and then I would only see it like on a quarterly basis. Whereas if you go ahead and you buy the album from me direct, then I'll be able to get that money immediately, right away. And so when y'all pay into me, when you invest in me, I'm taking that money and I'm investing it back into the business, making sure I have ISRC codes on point, which I'm going to be honest, these are things you're supposed to have in place on time, like before you do it. But because certain things wasn't right with my money, I had to figure out another way to do this. So, and then I also, like I told y'all about the Pro, I'm also telling y'all about, I had my own distributor before. I was with DistroKid. I left DistroKid and went with my management's distributor, Sony Orchid. But because my record label is called No One Owns Me, Noon Recordings, I want everything. I gotta have control of everything. I want to be able to control everything. I want to be able to see everything the way I want to see it. I don't want no middleman. And so with that being said, I'm going back to my own distributor, but I gotta pay for that. You know, there's a lot of things. You gotta protect your brand. That's also ownership. So paying for your trademark with the United States Trademark Office, you know what I'm saying, and paying for that. There's a lot of stuff that you gotta pay for. So when y'all pay and support this album, I know what to do now. You know what I'm saying? I know what to do now. And I'm going to keep these albums direct to consumer because to me, as an artist, this is more sustainable for me. You know what I'm saying? I think of DSPs as now, today, I was very resistant of them. But now I think of them as like radio. When radio first came out, people were resistant, but it's just a marketing tool. So I use it now as a marketing tool. We haven't released this album, Juno the Late Bloomer, yet via DSPs yet because we're focusing on the direct-to-consumer strategy, but also educating my audience of like the importance of direct-to-consumer and the importance of supporting the art. You got to support the art because the artist has to live. In order for the artist to make music that you enjoy, that you listen to on your worst days, on your best days, on your sad days, on your happy days, on your all in between, the artist, like, this ain't free. It costs money. It costs money. So we got to educate y'all as well as other artists that, hey, these things cost money. And in order for you to continue to get this, the artist has to be able to sustain themselves. If an artist can't sustain themselves, hey, Lisa was good. If an artist is unable to sustain themselves, they cannot create for you. If they're mentally not in the right place, they cannot create for you. If they are not financially on point, they cannot create for you. If they don't really have a home, they cannot create for you. You know what I'm saying? And even if they do manage, because I actually was moving through a depression when I created Juno the Late Boomer, I was actually moving through the anxiety and depression, and I created a whole album. I still had to figure out how I'm gonna get this album to you guys. How am I going to extend the reach of this album? You know what I'm saying? It costs money, while simultaneously protecting my brand, because I have so many fake people trying to use Remedy, or they real people who themselves don't seem to understand the integrity behind, hey, you should do a quick USPTO.gov search and see if somebody else has that brand name, right? Or see if people are using that name in the market. And out of integrity, if I see that this person hasn't trademarked that name yet, but they're using it actively in the market, out of respect and integrity, let me not use that name. Let me find something else, right? I haven't been talking on this for years, so I know people probably think I don't be aware. I pay attention to everything, baby. I know everything that's going on. It's just that you only have but so much capacity at a time, right? For certain things, you only have but so much capacity. USPTO.gov. That's how you go. I sent you that link today. Oh, sorry, that's Wendy talking to me now. Wendy, I just sent it to my friend Lisa, who just joined earlier today. If you want to see if someone is like, okay, let's just say, okay, you starting a business, WallaWallaBeanBang.com. People coming in. Food, oh my God, you gotta go back and you gotta watch this, because I'm actually wrapping up. But I'm talking about like trademarking. I'm talking about ownership in general. And right now where I'm at is like talking about trademarking, right? And I advise them to go to USPTO.gov, because when you, and shout out to Fuda. Fuda produced Juno the Late Boomer. So let's shout out Fuda Kochi, his full name. We call him Fuda. But Fuda produced the entire, why can't I talk? Fuda produced the entire album, Juno the Late Boomer. Okay? I'm letting y'all know, right? You start a business, WallaWallaBeanBang.com, right? Before you even start it, what you should be doing is research. Google it real quick. Let me Google it. Let me see if anybody using it in commerce. That means in the market, making money. Using it with the intent to make money, right? So let me Google it, see if anybody using that name. Okay, I Google it. I see somebody using that name. Okay. Now let me go and let me see if they trademark the name. But I also am taking notice that, damn, Walla Walla, this company, Walla Walla Bean Bang, they big. They using the name everywhere, right? But then I go to the trademark website and I go to USPTO.gov and I go and research and see if they use their name. It's not there. Okay, that's where ethics come in place, right? And I know there's no feelings in business, but there are ethics in business. There is personal integrity, right? And your business should have a value system in how you operate and how you do things. Like, you know, when you go to different company sites, they tell you what their values are. And that's why you should be doing business with everybody, because some companies' values do not align with yours. Like, they might be cool with, you know, robbing people and tapping people out of their resources and being transactional. Like, they don't have anything that guards them from being that, right? So your business integrity, right? We're talking about people who have integrity. You might say, dang, they didn't register their name on the trademark website. I ain't gonna use that name, right? Because they're a big company, they've been using it. And probably later on, they're probably gonna come after my ass when they realize that what I did and I took their name and they start educating themselves. They're probably gonna come after me. So to avoid all that, let me just pick another name. Or let's just say you go to Walla Walla, you look at Walla Walla Bean and you don't see nothing, okay? You go to the USPTO.gov site, you don't see nothing. Perfect. Let me trademark this thing right now. Let me trademark it right now so that no one can use it in the categories in which I trademark it, because there are categories in which you have to trademark, right? If you got the bread, trademark it in as many categories as possible, if not all. Okay, but let's just say you Walla Walla Bean Bang is a musician. You're gonna trademark it in the category for musicians, right? And that means nobody who's a musician should be using your name. There's like two artists using the name Remedy right now as if I don't know they exist. And they so bold with it. Say less. So I'm aware. I just want y'all to know I'm very aware. I'm very aware. I watch everything like a hawk. My spirit said you said too much, so I will digress. So anyway, with that being said, just, move with integrity. Move with integrity. Be a person in a company of good integrity. I'm breathing, Fuda. I'm breathing out. This is... It's just, just be a person of integrity. Be a company of integrity. You know what I'm saying? It's just right. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to bite you in the butt later when you're not doing business with integrity. It's going to come back to hunt you later. Okay? So anyway, this is why it's important for y'all to support this album. This is why it's important. There are things that got to be paid for. My team got to pay for, and it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's expensive. Man, I just want to say so much, but I want to, you know what I'm saying? I just, if you do your own research, you can see, you know what I'm saying? Like, different things, and it's like the different things that I'm facing. And I'll speak more on it the more that my spirit tells me to speak on it. But I said a lot today. I said a mouthful today that I think a lot of people think I'm not aware of. And I am aware of. I'm no fool. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I educate myself a lot. I read a lot. And Fuda will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly learning. I remember I was a teacher. I am a teacher at heart. So I'm constantly educating and learning things. But I'll be honest, in the beginning, like a lot of musicians and music artists and composers and songwriters, we're not educating ourselves. We're not empowering ourselves with the information. You get what I'm saying? We're not empowering ourselves with the information. And we also lean on the understanding of other people, which puts us in bad predicaments because we're trusting other people. It's all good to trust people, but you should still have an understanding of what their role is, what they do. You should have a basic understanding of your industry and how your industry operates, how it runs, the things, the lingo, the things that are important for you to know, so that when you do hire other people to do the job, they can't just run circles around you, or they can't just do certain things without you, having an understanding like, something not right here, because I know that you're supposed to do this, and that wasn't done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta be wise. You gotta be smart. And so, so there's things that I'm facing, that I don't know if that's the word, facing. There are things that, there are bridges to be crossed, and they require money to cross them, and resources rather, because it's not always, it's gonna be somebody's money. It may not always be my money, but there's gonna be, there are bridges that have to be crossed, and these bridges cost money. They cost money. And when you guys invest in me, you are investing in me being able to cross the bridge to get to the next level of what I am building here, what my team and I are building here, because it's not just me, right? And you're feeding the mouths of myself and my team and our families. You know what I'm saying? So I want to teach more. I am going to be teaching more about this, because I feel like, no, this is important. Like, that gatekeeping stuff, like, no, that's dead. Okay. We gotta each one teach one. We gotta make sure that we are sharing information with one another. Of course, you gotta have boundaries, because I paid a lot of money for this information. I made a lot of mistakes. I paid in lessons, baby. So yeah, there are going to be prices for some things, like the album, like the ebook that I'm gonna be rolling out very soon. You know what I'm saying? Like the intensive that I'm doing. Yeah, they're gonna cost you some money, but I'm gonna give you as much information as possible. If you want to get real like gutter, real close, and more specific to ask me questions, then you're gonna have to pay for it, right? Because I had to pay for it. I had to make a lot of mistakes. But I don't have an issue sharing what I know, because, man, imagine if somebody had shared this information with me a long time ago. where I would be today. But also, you got to be receptive of the information. That's another thing. People do be teaching us sometimes, but we don't be receptive. We don't be ready. We don't be ready. And then, then we want to be, woe is me. I don't know. Nobody never tell me nothing. No, you're just not ready yet to receive. And that's also okay to some extent. Sometimes there's levels to this, y'all. There's levels. Did this girl just say, what you read? Did this girl just say, what you read? Of course I read. Of course I read. Yes, reading. Let me tell you, I used to tell my students all the time, reading is so important. Reading is fundamental. Like, I had this saying, it's not my saying. I'm just a messenger. But I would tell them all the time, and they would be shocked as hell. I used to say some shit. I used to say a lot of things that my students used to probably be like, this lady finna get fired. But I gotta tell you the truth, and that's the other reason why I can't be teaching in the school system, because I can't sugarcoat stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a professional, but I gotta tell you the truth. And one of the things that they say is, if you don't want a nigga to know something, put it in a book. That's not me. I don't say that. You get what I'm saying? I'm just a messenger. That's what they say. And you could classify or define nigga as a person who's ignorant, right? It don't have to be a black person. I don't even use that word. I say niggas, right? Royalty, right? That's how, but that's what they say. If you don't want a nigga to know something, put it in a book, because niggas don't read. That's what they say. So you got to be mindful of, like, really reading is the key. Taking the time to read and educate yourself, to go to workshops, to go to intensives, to go to classes, to learn about this information, to empower yourself, right? Literally, a lot of the answers are right there in the book, but many, especially today's young people, don't want to read. Okay, they don't want to read. A lot of people don't want to read. And sometimes, too, it's just our attention spans are so short, we don't want to sit down and take the time to read, because we got AI now that's reading to us. We got AI giving us all the information. Everything is like quick and easily accessible. But let me tell you something. Your brain is a muscle. So you want to make sure that you keep that muscle strong. If you got AI doing everything for you, then at some point, your muscles are going to get weak. Now, don't get me wrong, I like AI a lot, right? But I also am mindful of the fact that I have to have balance, because I want to have a strong mind by the time I'm 80, 90 years old. I still want to be in my right mind, because my muscles are constantly being used all the time, versus facing Alzheimer or dementia or something like that, because I'm not strengthening my mind. Okay, you got to keep that mind strong. I'm going through y'all messages. Oh, okay. What do I read? I read a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I read a lot of self-help books. When I was younger, I read a lot of like drama and love stories and mystery. I love mystery. But today I read a lot of self-help books. Oh my God. I wish I'm not in my room. I want to let you know, like, a book. Let me see. As a matter of fact, let me tell you the book that I'm reading now. Hold on. Let me see. I might have sent it in text, or I sent it in WhatsApp. Hold on. I want to tell you what I'm reading now. Do-do-do. I pray that it's not deleted. Okay, so let me go in here. Yeah, it's not here. I will put it in my stories. I will put it in the stories. Oh, by the way, please go follow my personal page. Not personal page. Sorry, not personal page. That was wrong to say. Go follow my artist page. I just put it there. In fact, I told them I was going to pin this. But the book I'm reading now is a leadership book. I read a lot of leadership books, to answer your question. I read a lot of books about leadership. And dang, I wish I could tell you the name of this book. And then there's two books I have. I'm going to put it in my stories for y'all. But both of them are about leadership. And it's about like, Damn, I wish I knew what that book is called. It won't even come to my mind right now. But I'm going to put it in my stories immediately after this live. I'm going to put the books in my stories so that you can see what I'm reading. But I do, honestly, lately, I read a lot about leaderships and like things about like the mind, things about trading, because trading is also about like developing your mind and, emotional intelligence, because I feel like in the past I can still from time to time get a little bit too much in my emotions, and I'm realizing like your emotions kind of drive your life experience. It drives your perspective, and so I'm learning to kind of detach from my emotions so I could be a better leader and make better decisions, and also be a better communicator. So I like to read stuff about communication as well. Because, and I see here Leah, wow, that's my daughter's name, Lisa. Lisa wrote, communication helps the understanding, the what, the why, and the how to help. Yeah, being a better being a better communicator is really important to me in this phase of my life. And also being a great listener. I don't know what's wrong with why I can't talk, but... Also being a great listener. Yes, we got to stay ready. You said, what do you read? Yeah, I got that. Okay. Yeah, I got that. Nah, those are the best teachers. The one that don't shoot. Yes, let me tell you, my best teachers. I had a history teacher. She was a white woman, and she was one of the best history teachers I had in my life because she taught us the truth. I don't know how long she had the job. I don't know if later they let her go, but those be your revolutionary teachers. The one who don't just teach from the book. I didn't teach from the book. In fact, you can ask my students, we hardly use their textbook. I had my students doing a lot of research. I had to teach them how to understand what credible resources were, because a lot of them didn't understand what credible resources were, because a lot of students have a hard time retaining information, because I'm pretty sure somebody taught it to them. But it's like, they're having a harder time retaining information because they spend a lot of time online versus but we did read books, right? And we did use the textbook from time to time, but it wasn't all the time. I made them do a lot of critical thinking, a lot of researching, so that they can come up with not just what that book told them, but like the bigger picture. I used to tell them that my class was called, and they knew my class was called Our Story, World Our Story, not World History, because it's not just about his story. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, I can't do this anymore, because all we were doing was teaching his story. And I was like, we can't just teach his story. We usually tell the story of the winner, but we got to tell the story of everyone, all of us. So, my population was whites, Spanish, blacks. I didn't really have a lot of Asian students in my last couple of years, but, Hispanics, different groups. And it was, and I don't even like the word black, but, different ethnic groups within the melanated people. And so, I felt like I had a responsibility to tell the truth. I had a responsibility to teach them how to think critically. I had a responsibility to teach them how to learn their own story and to be proud of it. And I had a responsibility for them to see themselves reflected in their story, in the story that was being told. I just got tired of it. Every time I'm looking at the book, it's just, and nothing against Caucasians, but it wasn't even like a lot of Caucasian women. It was just Caucasian men. You know what I'm saying? And even then, it was a certain type of Caucasian man, one that was a member of the Protestant church, who owned land. You know what I'm saying? Who owned property. And it's one more criteria I can't think of right now, but it's like it was a certain kind of Caucasian man, and I just got tired of that. So let me see. It says, what else did I miss? Facts. I second readers doing reading rotation every day. Yes, taking note. Good job, because you're going to be an attorney. We need you to take all the notes. Fuda, the young lady in here whose name is I Sanchez, she was my mentee for a little bit, and her name is Wendy, and she wants to be an entertainment attorney. And this girl is so authentic. I feel like she's the best person for it. So yeah, they don't teach about, man, they do teach about Black and Hispanic culture on certain months, and it's mandated. So, and then, but what the crazy part is, we're mandated to teach what they tell us to teach all year long, and then we have to fit in the mandated, for instance, October Hispanic History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. Actually, also, I just learned something recently. Notice that you have Hispanic Heritage Month, and then you have Black History Month. So we're going to focus on the past. We're not going to focus on just our culture altogether. That's what heritage is. That's the difference, right? So I digress. But yeah, check out Wendy. Wendy, that's Fuda Kochi. That's my brother, but also he's an amazing producer. Please follow his page and follow her, Fuda, and just follow her journey. And you said that's why you always skipped class and went to music. See how she talk, y'all? She said that's why I always skipped classes and went to music. I knew it was all bullshit. This is how she was as a girl. This girl was like in the 10th grade, 9th grade, talking like that. I was like, I can't. And I was like, oh my God. I told her in this call, at the beginning of this call, like, she used to trigger me, but I didn't, it was like, I just knew I couldn't stop her from being who she was. But this girl used to be in our sessions like, what the fuck? Like, hi Cleon Muller, how are you today? I was like, this girl, please stop cursing. But it was something about her that made my spirit say, just let her be herself. Just let her be who she is. So I would not ever stop her from being who she was, even though I was a full-fledged adult and she was a full-fledged jit around here cursing. But I just said, I'm just gonna let her be herself and who she is. And I didn't I, Wendy? I let you be yourself. And she was one of the first young ladies or young people in general that I ever allowed to curse around me like that. Ever. You're welcome. It is my pleasure and an honor to have been able to share the same space with you. And I know you're going to be, whatever route you decide to take in music, I know you're going to be the GOAT. Just remember, to close this conversation out, remember that ownership is key. So you're a music artist. I know you're going to do your music. Ownership is key. But also being an artist, being a music entertainment lawyer, right? You have to be able to, you need to, more than anything, really understand how this business works, because you're going to be representing a lot of people who don't know how it works. And it will behoove you to empower them to educate themselves as well, not just have it where they lean on you fully for support. Like, empower them to educate themselves, because I feel like when we're all empowered, it makes the interactions better. Like, we could converse better, like our conversations are better, and then we could learn from each other even better when we have a basic understanding of the information. Then it makes it easier for us to have a conversation, right? Because you've taken time on your own time to empower yourself. So then when you start talking to me about what you don't know, but you know a lot of a lot of the basics, then it makes it easy for me to teach you new stuff, because you already have at least the basics down. You know what I'm saying? Versus like not knowing anything at all. But you got to start from somewhere, but definitely start by empowering yourself. And yes, it is all the progress. I told y'all at the beginning, I'm 42. It took my entire life to get this. It took my entire life to realize that I had to empower myself. It took my entire life to realize that ownership is important. And that if I want to make this a sustainable career that I can live from, and my heirs can live from, and my heirs can live from, I have to do better. And so to close this out, findyourremedy.bandcamp.com. Let me put that in the chat. Find Your Remedy.
Why are you trying to do it?
What happened there? Okay, Fire Remedy dot bandcamp.com is where you can pick up Juno the Late Bloomer, exclusively released on Bandcamp as a direct-to-consumer purchase. And as I've already told you, when you purchase the album, the money comes direct to me. I see it, my team and I, we see it immediately. And in a matter of 2 to 3 days, it's in our account. Like, we get access to the money and we can use it immediately for the things that are necessary to build a proper infrastructure. So I would greatly appreciate it if you all would support the album, support the art. It's important that we support art, that we support our favorite artists, that we support artists that are, dropping gems and giving gems and sharing information. That's important to support people that we respect and that we want to honor while they are alive, right? Golly, I didn't know that Leo had passed away. That is like just... it's not hitting me right now because today I felt was a lighter day for me because I had, I went to a viewing on Friday. I went to a repast. I went to a funeral and a repast on Saturday. Sunday, I told myself I'm giving this energy to myself. And then today I woke up feeling light because I felt like, okay, I moved through that. I had been grieving. I'm still grieving, right? But I just feel lighter. So the last 2 weeks since I had found out the news of my friend's father passing, that's been a lot. So like I don't want to say like I'm numb to Leo's passing. I just don't want to process it right now, but I'm gonna have to because he was a great person. So I gotta figure out like how to, he was a great person. So y'all don't wait to release your music. Don't wait to put your infrastructure in person. I prefer goddess over queen, FYI. I prefer goddess. Goddess have dominion over everything. Queens have dominion over territories. Interesting. So anyway, ownership is important. Own your music, own your catalog, make sure things are properly registered. Learn the music business. Know that if you're making music, you're in the business of making music. And start moving like a business. Peace. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Guys, I gotta read what she said before I close it out. Wendy goes, man, then goddess, yes. And then she said, we've been enlightened by goddess Remedy. Thank you for your time. Peace. Thank you for your time. Y'all go get that album. Juno the Late Bloomer. FindYourRemedy.bandcamp.com. Have a good evening. Peace.
I'm sorry, baby. understand.